has to offer.
I still dey live can now. First only person one pikin.
And you go control.
The dispute is real, and the judgment is binding. This is the Justice Call.
It's a beautiful afternoon in the city of Ibadan. Ibadan, good afternoon. You are on to Legal Diary with Mercy Adedokun. By this time last week, we were in the face of hot protest. Yeah. And should we say the protest still continues? Or according to the record, the protest ought to hold from August 1st of August to 10th. But we are yet to still, well, I've not seen anyone protesting in Ibadan since the Sunday. Should we say we've concluded all, or we've accepted everything Mr. President mentioned? On that note, I want to welcome the lawyer in the house, Lawyer Toluwase Ogudeji. Lawyer, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mercy. Good afternoon to our listeners.
Yeah, we were on the show together last week and we discussed about right of protesters. And now I want to ask you, because I've not seen anyone protesting since Sunday that the president has spoken. Yeah, because should we say we've accepted everything the president said? Because now there's minimum wage, there's so many things now we can see. The fuel subsidy still remains. There's still high price in fuel, so many things. Yet people are back to their normal daily activities. Should we say we have accepted our faith and we've moved on? But note that the northern part of the country still, they are still experiencing should I say curfew now, because I spoke with someone in Kaduna as at this morning, and he said they shifted from 24 hours curfew to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Why? I don't know. Let's just start now. But for Southwest now, no protest, nobody carrying placard. Are we tired?
Well, it was last week I did mention it. I said this protest does not have a direction. And one of the reasons why I said does not have a direction is because some of the organized bodies, labor bodies that you might think, okay, they are moving for agitation of the people,
okay,
are not involved in this protest. At a particular time, this protest had no face. There was nobody saying, oh, I'm the one leading, championing a cause. So, and then you find out that, yes, irrespective of the fact that certain things said by the president during his broadcast does not really address certain issues, but you see the body language of the government has shown to a certain extent that some of the issues that are contained in this protest are being worked upon. Is it the NLC that just got a raise in their minimum wage that will continue the strike action? No. So that's why for me, yes, it was a good, the agitation alone that, oh, there's a protest that is going to happen, was something that got the attention of the government. Yes, that's good. And for the northern part, you discover that it wasn't a protest. It moved to being a riot, which the police was very cautious. Very cautious, because eyes is on the security agencies now. Do you understand? Yes, because when you are protesting, you must understand that there are limitations to it. You cannot protest and start destroying the properties of the state. Now, if action is taken, then you find out that at the end of the day, it's the police or the security agencies that will say that did not do something well or did not do things. So for me, the protest was dead on arrival.
Dead on arrival.
It was dead because there was no face. Who exactly can we say is promoting this protest? What exactly are the demands? They are not clear for me. Yes, there is hunger in the land. Yes, but how do we bring this down? There are certain issues. Is it possible for the government to say everybody in the market, this is the amount you are going to sell rice, this is the amount you sell beans, this is the amount you sell gari? Is it possible? Do you understand that? So that are some of the questions. Yes, we can now talk about forex. Yes, we can now talk about, okay, but you see, let's look at the policies the government has been doing. Are we in the right track? If we are in the right track, let's give you some time. Let's give you some time. If we are talking, dollar did not start losing value in a day.
In a day, yeah.
So we can't expect that it will gain value in a day. It has to be right decisions made over time. And then when we talk about this petroleum, yes, there are certain things that we should also look at. Okay, how can this fuel price, how can it come down? So for me, it was just something that we need to just be able to sit down and be able to say, okay, what are the ways, what are the things we can do? So immediately the organized labors and everybody was out of it. The protest was something. Even for Ibadan, you discover that I don't think 1/3 of the population came out on Thursday. I think it was just Thursday. Majorly we had
Thursday and Friday.
Few,
yeah.
And then by Saturday, in fact, by Friday, shops were opened. More shops opened. There was movement like as if nothing was happening. So, for me, that's it. I just believe that the protest was a bit misguided, but here we are.
All right. You know, the part of what the protesters actually part of their request from the government is increasing the minimum wage, which has been granted.
Yeah.
But the truth on ground that I don't seem to understand is when and how it's going to be effective.
Okay.
Knowing fully well that when the minimum wage become effective, definitely there will be increase in price.
That's the problem. Because the market woman believes you are not earning
You are not earning money. And definitely there will be more. The new minimum wage will have impact on both small and medium-sized enterprises in Nigeria.
Exactly.
The question is, are we saying our Labour Party have actually accepted the 70,000?
Yes, they have.
They've accepted it.
Yes.
But do you know that one way or the other, the woman at Bodija Market, we believe, I think we won't see.
Exactly.
Because anytime there's opportunity for increment like that, there's always the goods always rise, and
Yes.
there's always this say of, oh, government is now taking care of you.
Exactly.
So there is money with you, whereas it's not just about food alone.
Yes.
So I would say we should go ahead with the 70,000, and
I think the 70,000 is even a done deal now.
Yeah, it's a done deal because
the
they've passed the
amendment
bill.
has been signed
Yes.
into law by the president. And you know, before, even at the time when there was talks about this minimum wage, that was my mind that I didn't believe that the minimum wage was the only solution we needed at that time. And at a certain point, I began to ask myself if NLC was only fighting for the workers and there was nobody fighting for the women selling and all that. Which, once they hear, in fact, just talk about dollar increased, you will see the effect in the market immediately. And then you ask yourself, okay, how is dollar affecting the pepper seller? So it's something that will turn around to come and look like as if there is nothing there was no increment in the first place. But what I feel we can do is the fact that there are things that Chapter 2 of the Constitution that the government should be able to work on. When you look at housing scheme,
Okay.
there's no government housing scheme that
At
is
all.
very effective and is targeted at the commoner. You see some real estate development going on in Oyo State, but how many civil servants can afford it?
Yeah.
So what is our housing scheme? People are having to labor so much to pay their house rent. I have several cases. You understand? We are in court where houses of 3-bedroom is going for 150,000
Wow.
in this Ibadan, and it's still a struggle for the person to pay. So that's for you to know. So some of these things, and then welfare. Yes, the policy about health insurance is something that is going on well, but we still need more. If you're working and you know you don't have to spend so much, though some of these policies are even things that is more like you are paying in advance because they are subtracted from your salary.
From your salary. Yeah.
So it's more like you are paying in advance and all that. So for me, this 70,000 we still the law says that within 3 years. So in 3 years' time, they will consider it again.
This is Nigeria. You and I know they can't consider it in 3 years.
Well, that's what the law says. Once the law says is there will be an agitation immediately. Once it's 3 years, and then this increment does not even affect private employees that have less than 25 persons.
I'm still coming there because
Okay.
you know that this minimum wage is meant for government.
It covers
Covers government,
private,
private.
yes.
But the question is, do you think all private can afford it?
It's not. It's not all private that can afford it. It's not, and that's just the truth. But it only amounts to something. Every service will be increased. Prices of services or prices of things will be increased so that they can come into this.
Prices will be increased.
Prices will be that would just be the solution, because how do you want to meet up with a minute? That means if you have a driver, if you have clerical staffs at the lowest level in your organization, that's the minimum they should take.
That's the implication.
That's the implication.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum.
Your driver,
your
those in low
cadre.
That's the
That's
minimum.
the minimum they should take.
But you all know, both private, to families that has employers, to private organizations, you know they can't afford it. But does that mean there will be, when a situation like that happens, there is always possibility of retrench, why they have to just cut down and manage human resource.
Yes.
But it tells on the people working.
It tells.
There was the fate of those in private, because you all know that employment into government job now is not beans and rice. It's not something you can just wake up one day and say I want to pick up. I was at University of Ibadan, the CBT Center last week when Oyo State coordinated their CBT exam for teachers. Yeah. Truth being told, 62,000 applicants. 62,000 applicants, and government want to pick 7,500 applicants. Now the result is out, and people begin to ask themselves, even from, they can't go by the result alone.
Yes.
Also, they will still have to conduct interviews. They will still have to do one or two procedure, documentation, and some things. But the truth being told is, even for states, some states are still agitating that they cannot yet still pay the minimum wage.
Well, you see, that's where I say that our checks and balances in terms of when it comes to governance has to be put in place, because some of the states that say they cannot be able to fulfill their obligations, you find out that there are certain places where they spend money and you want to question it. And so that is where, for me, the legislature in each state also has to rise up. And we need to also start asking questions from our state government. How much are you generating? How much is coming out? How much is the security vote? How much is being released onto you? If not for now that the judgment of the Supreme Court has stopped local government funds to come into the hands of state government, state government were receiving that, which is no small money at all. So it's all a question of for me, the government can be able to do it, even if it means that you have to increase your internal generated revenue. They have to be able to do it. And that's one thing I think. I just want to use an example of Oyo State and then I'll use Lagos State also. At certain points during Obasanjo's time, President Olusegun Obasanjo's regime, funds of local government were withheld from Lagos State, and Lagos State ran well in terms of the fact that they were able to look inward and generate funds internally. So if funds can be generated internally, it will have ripple effect on how much the state is able to give back and be able to help her people. So, and then for the private, let me just go read that law. An exception is there that's the National Minimum Wage Act 2019, and then Section 4. Section 3 sub 1 does not apply to an establishment in which workers are employed or paid on part-time basis, and commission or piece rate, an establishment employing less than 25 persons. So you see that most private organizations will come under this place, because I don't think we have so much that we have 25 persons.
25%. The law, before you proceed, let's go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
On the 103.5 FM.
lótìtọ́ ni bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni gọ́níyà fíjì ìròyìn tó àmójúbà gbogbo aláfẹ́ ayé tó dé Subchem Leading Hotel and Suites ló ń ròyìn wípé ìgbádùn sodo síbì kan ju bì kan lọ. Subchem Leading Hotel and Suites, elegantly and centrally located in a secured and serene environment. Our facilities include cozy rooms and suites, spacious event and conference hall. Our restaurant serves delicious intercontinental and local cuisines, while our bar is stocked with all kinds of assorted drinks. Ní Subchem Leading Hotel and Suites, iná wa kì í ṣẹ́jú nígbà kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ètò àbúgbò kan falala lẹ́ẹ̀ma lo Wi-Fi ọ̀fẹ́ láì níkọ̀sẹ̀. There is also laundry service and fully equipped gym. Seeing the say is believing. Visit Subchem Hotel and Suites today at Plot 3, Mechanic Scheme, opposite New Garage, off Ijebu-Ode Expressway, Ibadan, Nigeria. Telephone 090-6466-7569 and 090-4821-8600. Subchem Leading Hotel and Suites. In hospitality, we lead. Dúkìá níní kì í ṣẹ́gbẹ́ owó rẹpẹtẹ tá a kó pamọ́ sí báńkì láti wá ṣẹ́gi ọ̀rọ̀ tí kì í tán láéláé tí fìdí lọ́kànbalẹ̀ fílẹ̀ dọ́mọ bí ilé àtilẹ̀ lágbègbè àwọn ọ̀tọ̀kùlú tó níye lórí rẹpẹtẹ. Safe Casa Realty ní ẹ bá dòwò pọ̀. Safe Casa Realty ẹ̀ka Sam Awo Basic Concept Limited ló mójúlẹ́jà ilé àtilẹ̀ tí ò ní bayobayo nú. A jẹ́ pé gbogbo ẹni tó fẹ́ ra lẹ̀ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ tàbí ilé iṣẹ́ tó fi mú àyè ìdókòwò bó ti wù kó pọ̀ tó ìbáàjẹ́ ilẹ̀ fún housing, industrial tàbí commercial estate lẹ́ bá ń fẹ́. Safe Casa Realty ní ẹ fọkàn tẹ̀ bí wọ́n ṣe ń ralé talé ni wọ́n ń ralẹ̀ talẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì tún bá ní mójútó dúkìá ẹni pẹ̀lú ìfọkànbalẹ̀. Àjẹpẹ́ boko ọ̀bá jìnnà mọ́ ìlà kìí kò. Safe Casa Realty wà ní
number 40 Adébájò Street, Vie Kongi Bódìjà, Ìbàdàn.
Fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ kàn sí wọn lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ +2348077774880 +2348077774880. Safe Casa Realty àdùnbárìn má tòṣì.
On the 103.5 FM.
You are welcome back from the commercial break. If you are just joining us, this is Legal Diary. And currently we are discussing on the minimum wage and the how it affects the impacts on goods in the country. The law, less than 25 staff.
Once the company has less than 25, they are not to comply with the minimum wage.
Okay, but in a situation they are higher than
25 and above
is compulsory.
Now
my question: currently we all know there is hierarchy of goods in the country currently. When the 70,000 is yet to be implemented.
Yes.
And my question is, what's our fate in the next 6 months?
Well, I think our fate in the next 6 months is to brace up ourselves. Like, take for instance, I believe that policies might be able to break certain prices down. Like, take for instance, I think for a couple of months now, the federal government has removed custom duties on importation of food items. So it means that if you are bringing in food items, you are importing food items, you're not paying custom duties for some months now. So that kind of policy will help. Now, also there's 40,000 naira rise, although it's been limited to workers, civil servants alone, which the federal government is pushing out to states. Now, things like that.
The 40,000 naira rise, it's not for everybody.
It's not
even for all civil servants.
It's for well, yes, but it's
because this is Nigeria. So
exactly.
Welcome to Nigeria. It's not for all civil servants. We both know that.
It's not for all, of course. It's not for all, but it should be for all. And in fact, I understand what you're saying, but let's just take it as the government has said it, that it's for civil servants. And
we should take it
there. Some of those things, at least some of those things, one way or the other, might have effect on the fact that the demand will reduce on the market, the general market, because people already have something to live on. The custom duty has already been removed, but the only issue I have is the fact that we as Nigerians, sometimes we don't exhibit love for ourselves. In the fact that I've never seen where probably there's a drop. There was a time when there was naira gained some value. And I was expecting that let there be a ripple effect also on the market prices. But everybody kept saying, it was when it was high I bought, it was when it was high I bought, it was when it was high I bought. So for me, some of those policies will help. It will help in a way, but it might not just be so much difference, but it will help in a way. And the only thing we can just do is let us look inward. We have lands. So can the government also help? Yes, there's been some innovations or things about it, and the issue we have is the fact that some of these agricultural policies, when they come out, they don't reach the farmers themselves.
They don't. That is why I'm saying welcome to Nigeria.
They don't.
Was it 2 weeks ago when they were saying the port is dry? And I begin to ask myself, does that mean what we actually believe is our main source of income in Nigeria is up? That's up? That's the head.
So we just need to start looking at other means. Yes, the government does some program for agriculture, but you find out that the man permits me to just use Oyo town that has hectares and is farming. You discover that he's not reaching that man.
Not even farming alone. There are so many schemes the government is running that is not getting to the citizens.
It's not. So you find out you're just like, okay, what? So if that system, if that bureaucracy is not removed, if there is no implementation of laws that if you're in government, even if you're a civil servant, you cannot apply for agricultural grants or loans or schemes of government because you're already working in government. Let others benefit from it. We will keep recycling things. I've seen certain things of government and you find out that it's someone that is in government that has also sponsored someone outside to come forward and take it. And at the end of the day, we are back But imagine as vast as we have lands in this state, for instance, and there's fertilizers, there's everything available, and all good roads and all that. You'll find out that items will be cheaper. Items will be. Sometimes people say that even the local rice is kind of expensive than even the imported rice. And sometimes I look at it that why? But when you come to see that some of these persons has also put in so much. I know farmers that went to take loans and they need to repay loan with heavy interest.
And you know that it's not just about planting,
yes.
harvest.
Yes.
You also have to think about the herdsmen that will invade your farm.
Security, so you have to get guards.
You also have to think about the safety transporting from where you harvest down to, because as of last week there was news that there was kidnapping along Oyo Ibadan Express Road.
Exactly.
And people begin to ask themselves, so what's my fate?
What's the safety?
If I have acres of land in Oyo town and I have to sell in Bodija market, what's the safety?
So you see, that's and for you to be a very good farmer, you must stay on the farm.
You must stay on the farm.
So if those things are not there, people just want to, or if you want to make it available, it's at extra cost. So at the end of the day, you just say, let me just leave it. Let's be importing.
Let's be importing.
So those are the things. If we can begin to work on those systems, this minimum wage then can make sense. Even if you do 250,000, if the government does 250,000, I can assure you the market women, everybody, even me as a lawyer, my fee will change because you're earning the fee now. So everything there will be a ripple effect immediately. So I believe the plan should be, or the focus should be, what are the policies that we can steer the government to make. That's what I'm expecting from the Labour Congress. Stay on government link to do policies that will favor us, and when they do it, also stay on their link for implementation. Let there be no bureaucracy. Let there be no, this is my family, this is this. No, let there be no, I know this person. No, let it reach the end users. Let the councillors get it across to the end users, so that everybody can be happy. Everybody can say that, oh, I'm enjoying the benefit of democracy.
You mentioned something about Lagos State that when the regime of His Excellency Obasanjo actually stopped their revenue, they looked inward and actually sought out themselves. But I begin to ask myself, how was it possible if not for people who still pay tax?
Exactly.
It's still from people who still pay tax.
Exactly. Now you can also imagine, like, the driving style in Lagos is a bit different. Should I say the obedience to traffic rules is different in Lagos than here?
Definitely.
One of the reasons is the fact that if you are caught, the fine you will pay, you would not even want to dare again. So there are administrative fines like that can also add to the revenue of the government. And some of these taxes that we talk about is why we have issues with it in Nigeria is the fact that we are not seeing the dividends of it. There's no government that can run without, it's like contribution. But if I'm earning well, the road network is good, I enter my house 12 a.m., I don't have issues. I'm not scared. I can breathe very well. There's water system. It was just, I think it was this week, somebody was telling me she pays for water bill. I'm like, okay.
Not in Nigeria.
In Oyo State.
In Oyo State.
And that one day she challenged it that, why am I paying for water bill? And they said, water is available now. Just take pipe and go and connect it from Ashejire.
Are you kidding me?
Do you understand? So if some of those things, we won't have to be doing boreholes if the water system was still working well. So it puts a lot on the government. If the government can be able to put in so much of those resources, so much of security secured, that's when we look at developed countries, some of them have their earnings is tax.
It's tax, yes.
But they
know,
don't question
but there is value
it.
For the tax.
Exactly.
There is value.
Exactly. So the issue is, where is the value that can justify me paying the tax?
The tax. Okay, if I'm paying for, let's say I'm paying for light in developed countries,
yes.
there is value for it.
There's value for
At
it.
least there is always light, let's say 24/7.
Yes.
I know I'm
So
entitled
it's now left on you to
to
switch
decide
it
whether
off.
to switch it on or switch it
Yes.
off. There is value for my water, utility,
Yes.
everything. But the concern about Nigeria is, where's the value for what we pay for?
Exactly.
Take for example a small enterprise that is just coming up, that is yet to actually gain the feet, have to pay for. Oyo State will come for tax, federal government will come for tax, local government will come for tax. Let me tell you let me burst your bubble. Up to the signpost, your signboard you have outside.
Maybe that's one thing we will discuss probably next week, or we'll bring one of their staffs to come
yes,
and talk.
you have to pay for it. You pay for the land you bought yourself.
Exactly.
After the CEO
Land
vote,
use
you
charge.
still have to pay land use charge.
Yes.
You know, all these things are part of reasons why people are saying, upon everything we are paying, where
Let
is
us
still the
see.
value? Let's
Yes.
see.
Yes.
At least we will know that, okay, if I'm getting value for what I'm being paid for, I won't have any problem, because I will say, oh, even if you want to be collecting it every month, in as much there is value for it, with joy I will be able to pay. You understand? But Nigeria has gotten to this. I don't want to say a messy situation where we just like a very big dish. Everybody is just dropping.
Yeah.
Everybody's dropping, and nothing is coming out of that dish for us.
That's the major moral argument, and even the law expects that when it's a give and take. It's a give and take. At least I know. Yes, the law has exempt companies that don't have turnover of 60 million from company income tax. But you are still expected to pay to the state, your payee, pay pension, you pay all of those things, and so it's a lot, and that's just a charge. And for me, that's some of the things that our agitation should be. Let us, how much is being generated?
That's it. We don't know how much is being generated.
Project have you done? But unfortunately, our legislatures are sometimes in the pocket of the governor. So there's no check. There's no questioning. There's no, when I was growing up, I always enjoyed some Senate presidents, because they were questioning. There was fear in the heart of the executive, because they can impeach them anytime. But yeah, you get a lot. A new GRA is being formed. The next thing is legislatures that are the first to be given, and everything like that. And then you ask yourself, okay, are you not supposed to be a thorn in the flesh, in the neck of the executive? Let them know that, no, we are watching you. If you mess up, it's just one sitting, we will repeat you. But there is nothing like that. So at the end of the day, and for me, why I place importance on the legislature more is that they are the ones that are representing the people at those levels. Each community, each sect broken down have their representatives. So you should be able to know the mind of the people, where exactly they are feeling the pain.
That's the problem. So it's because we want to reach people at the grassroots level. Exactly. That's where we have the councillor, we have the local government chairman, we have those at the House of Representatives, because we want to reach those at the grassroots level. And the question I begin to ask myself is, when during the election time, we know how we reach them.
Exactly.
If it's to go or to go over the on boat, or what's it called? If it's to swim, we know how we reach them.
You reach them.
And you just discover that after the election, you don't hear from them again until 4 years time.
I went somewhere in Lagos, and you have to take boat to get there.
Yes.
And I look at that highland. there's no electricity.
And they
In
claim
fact,
they live in Lagos.
someone had to just come down. I think probably she's from there and just had to come down and did solar into that highland. I'm like, okay. And I was asking, okay, when they were campaigning, did they reach there? Yes, they reached there. But after they got the vote, they are off. We cannot keep doing that. We cannot. It's our community. We must make Nigeria a place where outsiders can say, oh, I want to go to this country.
Let me tell you something. You know something happened recently? There was this there's this particular road that actually needs a renovation, and the person wrote the government that
Okay.
please, because of my investment in this area,
Okay.
I would love to renovate. They said no,
No, they won't.
that he has no rights to.
And some of those things is just because of the greediness of those involved in governance. It might not even get to the table of the executive.
Oh, the executive. You know how long,
it
you
might
know how many
not.
years it took us to complete Lagos Ibadan Expressway.
We are still on it.
We are still on it.
Because that project is meant to get to
Ilorin?
Ojo. Where I think the first is Ojo.
Ojo. Okay.
They've
We
not
are still on
completed it. Even at Bega, they are still doing some. You understand? So, you know, because someone like that, he pays tax. He has corporate social responsibility. Let him use those funds to do the road. But because of he can even use your workers, but you find out that at some certain government levels there is selfish interest. Let me just put it.
There's somebody that wants to just go on with everything.
That is just it.
And doesn't care about whether other people are fine,
That is just
whether
it.
they are okay. I just want to go on with everything.
That is just
And we can't continue this greediness, because at the time I was telling someone, I said this protest is just I don't know how to, you know, it's not just in Nigeria they are protesting.
Yeah.
Currently, as at yesterday in UK, there was a protest, and I begin to ask myself, somebody was saying it's a face. Yes, it's a phase that will soon pass. Now we keep continue like this. A generation will arise that we fight in a messy way.
In a messy way, yes.
And that will be the I don't know.
That's why for me the call is also, let's remove the attention away from the government. The call is also for the rebirth of national values. There is the values of loyalty, honesty, hard work is easily just flying away. These issues that we're talking about government, you go to student union in universities, is happening.
It's happening. Someone appointed 50
Special
assistants.
It's happening. It's happening. So you see that the values has already been affected, and there is just need for that change of values. And it's not one person that will do it. It has to be many people ready to do it.
All right. That's to say that for Nigeria to be great, it starts from you and I.
Yes.
It start from you to your family,
Yes.
to the community, to the
Exactly.
society at large.
Exactly.
All right, this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on Legal Diary. Lawyer, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Till we come your way next week, I still remain Mercy Adedokun. Keep listening to 101.3.5.